I'm Andrew Levine, the CEO of Koinos Group, inventors of Koinos, the blockchain with no fees.
And I'm Adam, founder of GFAM, a platform that completely decentralizes earnings for content creators.
And this is our decentralized future, where we talk about issues and interview people on the cutting edge of technology to help prepare you for a more decentralized future.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I guess I can give you the background on TheTie, and my name's Josh for everyone listening. Basically, the background on the company. So I was super bored at a desk job back in 2017. And so I started, like many of you guys probably listening, day trading crypto, but was also using sentiment data to build quantitative models to predict movement of equities, and kind of put two and two together and was like, hey, if I can use sentiment data or investor emotion to predict the movement of a stock that has earnings and revenue and dividends, that has fundamentals in the digital asset space where there's no quote unquote fundamentals, one would inevitably think that sentiment or investor emotion would be a leading indicator of asset movement. So I had a relationship with the leading sentiment data provider in traditional capital markets. We decided, hey, let's take all this data and all this technology from traditional finance and let's bring it into crypto. And so I entered crypto in early 2018 with 100 grand, hired a 22-year-old, I was 22 as well at the time in Pakistan, and basically set out to sell alternative data to sophisticated institutional investors, and realized very quickly that in early 2018, there was no such thing as sophisticated institutional investor in crypto, and there was certainly no demand for alternative data among sophisticated institutional investors in crypto, which didn't really exist. And so really kicked our tires for a few years. But the great thing is, when you have no money, you can't really spend it. And so, we weren't really burning any capital, but we were kind of just going in circles, for a long time trying to find product market fit. But as the market started to mature, and as I think I started to mature as an entrepreneur, I realized that the biggest problem that anybody had in crypto had nothing to do with alternative data like sentiment. It was the fact that no one had any idea what was going on. Like I would go out and I would talk to a hedge fund manager and I'd say, hey, you guys are trading 10, 20, 30 different assets. How are you staying on top of all the news and information around those assets? And what I'd hear is some combination of, we have 4 analysts that spend every waking hour of the day on Twitter. We're in 1 million Discord channels, 400,000 Telegram channels. We're subscribed to all these newsletters. And that just didn't make any sense to me. Like I had used Bloomberg, I'd used FactSet, I'd used Icon, but I'd also been on Yahoo Finance. And you can just see news and corporate actions around equities. So realized that needed to exist for crypto. And so we basically spent a few years trying to identify where all information in crypto originates, and then building technology to go out and robotically crawl or pull that information in real time. So for example, we now parse through every single SEC filing in real time. And so one example of that is we picked up the Goldman Sachs DeFi ETF news 2 hours before anybody wrote the news story. The only reason that anybody found the news story is because the 2 biggest crypto publications are our clients, and their breaking news all comes from us. We track every court case in the US in real time, every regulatory ruling in 2,000 different jurisdictions in 100 different languages. So whether that's the AMF in France, the Singaporean Monetary Service Authority, or the Wyoming State Senate, every update from tokens. So whether that's a blog, a medium, a forum, a governance forum, a Twitter account, every update from exchanges, OTC desks, market makers, miners, hedge funds, Chinese publications, anything you can think of. So our technology is able to go out to these 7,000 disparate sources every minute or faster and pull in that information. But it's not enough just to be like, here's a feed of everything. What our tech can actually do is tag and categorize that information. So we can say, for example, if we see a headline mentioning ETH, you might think that that's about Ethereum, but up until last week, ETH was also the ticker symbol of Ethan Allen, the home furniture company. And Ether, which is Ethereum, is also a gas. And so our technology in real time can discern the relevance of information to an asset, but it's able to go a step further, which is tell you how significant something is. So is it a listing, a partnership, a mainnet launch, a hard fork, a token burn, a regulatory ruling, et cetera. So effectively what you can do, like all the largest market makers and OTC desks in crypto are our clients. And they may say, show me every time Coinbase changes their fees. Let me know anytime there's an asset listed on a major exchange. We work with some of the biggest traditional asset managers in the world. We have clients that are 40, 50, 60 billion AUM. And they may say, let me know anytime there's a major regulatory ruling on Bitcoin. Let me know anytime Elizabeth Warren tweets about crypto or whatever else. And so basically, built that technology for hedge funds, but have found a lot of applications outside of it. But broadly speaking, what TheTie is doing is we are, straight up, we are building Bloomberg for crypto. At the core of it is real-time news, but we also do sentiment data, market data. We're rolling out on-chain data next week, which we're very excited about. And so really focus on the most high-end clients in the space, whether that be major banks, large traditional asset managers, hedge funds, market makers, et cetera. But really trying to build an all-in-one workstation workflow solution for these primarily traders to help them make smarter and faster and more informed trades.
That was such a fantastic summary. One of the things that's interesting about what you guys do is that it seems like your customers are largely institutions, but through your customers, your data is fairly accessible to ordinary people. Is that more or less right?
So our our core institutional data platform is only available to enterprises. We have a number of partners that we will redistribute data through to make a lot of that data accessible to retail. I'm not going to talk about specific ones just because we have a large number and some of them are potentially competing with one another. So I don't like to call it individual partners of ours, but there are a large number of retail applications in the space, products, and services that integrate our data to make it accessible to the everyday investor. Some of those products are actually free. There are some exchanges that have our data available. There are some more integrations that are coming, but some of them are also paid products that have a little bit more, and really can help an investor, make a more informed decision. But we service both. So directly, we're B2B only, but then to retail, we're B2B2C.
So people may be taking advantage of your data and not even knowing it already.
It's possible. It's possible. There are some platforms that integrate our data, and it's not, people don't know that it's our data.
Another thing I find interesting about your use cases lately, and it seems crazy to think that we're kind of just coming to this realization, but we're thinking about Koinos as a technology for enabling enterprises to build both decentralized and hybrid applications, what we call hybrid applications, meaning that they're leveraging decentralized networks for some things, but they're also largely a centralized application developer. And it seems like that's basically a big part of how you guys operate. One of the big reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast is because I view you as an entrepreneur in the space. And I feel like that's something that's the type of person that you don't hear enough from, right? I meet tons of developers, technical people who don't realize that they need to be entrepreneurs or don't have a good entrepreneur to learn from. So, do you have, first of all, is it fair to characterize you in that way as an entrepreneur in this space? And as an entrepreneur, what lessons have you learned from your experience operating in the space?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I mean, I think, I've gone a route that many have not, right? We're not venture funded. We bootstrapped this business. I've taken it from myself to 40 employees full time with no external capital. And it's sheer will and determination. And it's failing a lot. And, I moved back home in with my parents for a few years when I first got started. It's making sacrifice. I mean, in terms of lessons I've learned, I guess the most important, and I'm learning things every single day. I would say that I constantly am seeking to improve. The things that I've been focused on more is how do you, as you scale and as you grow, the most important thing is to trust your team and to delegate. And I've started to get really good at that. I think I've started to build a lot of trust in my employees, and I think they do know that and they recognize that. But it hasn't just been me. I mean, I think the most important thing, I guess, on my entrepreneurial journey is having people that I can talk to, I can listen to, and I can learn from. And so, my father was a president of Thomson Reuters, was a senior executive, and, they built a lot of, we're building a lot of what they had in traditional capital markets. And I'm very lucky to have had a father that I can, get advice from, I can learn from, and on little things, like how do you price a product? Like, how do you ask somebody for money? Like, it's funny, but first of all, pricing a product is literally just throwing a dart at a dartboard. Like, you're just guessing, but when I first started, I felt bad charging people for things, and like, well, you can't have a business unless you charge people for things, right? And so, and I've had others, throughout the years that have provided me with a lot of help and a lot of insight. I mean, a mutual friend of ours, John Rice, is the editor in chief of Cointelegraph, has been a good friend, has given me a lot of advice. My other, co-founder, had sold a company previously, but just so many people over the years, and you just learn things over time. I don't know. I think the most important thing, I guess, about being an entrepreneur is just listening to others, being open-minded, and learning from your mistakes, because you're going to make a lot of them, and letting your failures motivate you. I failed a lot of times. When we first started the company, I tried to raise capital and no one believed in me. Not a single person. I did not get one check, one term sheet, anything from a single person when I first started this business. And now I think within the next 6 months, we'll be the largest data research company in crypto by revenue, and headcount, without, to this point, external funding. And it just shows that if you're determined to do something, you'll find a way to make it work. And so, the most important thing about being an entrepreneur is being hungry, trusting others, and just don't give up. Because if you don't give up, if there's a will, there's certainly a way.
Do you love the work that you do? Because for me, I feel like that's how I get through the hard times. I literally couldn't think of anything I'd rather be working on. Or are you innately driven and you could choose kind of any path and you will just barrel down that path?
I mean, I think I love what I do. I think I really love our team. I love the people that I work with every day. I'm inspired by them. I think they're amazing. They drive me. And the most exciting thing for me is building energy with my team, seeing them excited. When one of our sales guys go out and sell something and they're so hyped and they call me, or when somebody on our data science team builds something new, or our product team shows off a new feature and gets excited, like that's what drives me. I love what I do. Certainly, like, is crypto data the most interesting thing in the world? Like, no, like I love it. Like, it's cool. But for me, it's, if I set my mind to something, I am not going to fail, or I am going to put everything I have into trying. And so I'm very driven. I'm very loyal. When people believe in me, right? When I first, got started, there were some people that believed in me and helped me along the way. I have to make sure that they got taken care of. Like my co-founder, Ben, came and, he joined about 10 months, 11 months after I started. He didn't take a salary for a year and a half. I am forever loyal to him. And so for me, I think it's the loyalty, the drive, the passion. I don't think it's about the specific product. It's more like, this is my baby. And I'm going to take this from day one, where I literally, was sitting at my desk, drawing out in a notebook sketches of wireframes of what this product could be, to, hopefully IPOing this thing in a few years, right? It's, I think the coolest part is that I've been there every step of the way, even when it was just me and no one believed in me. And I think that's what drives me.
Yeah, I think you made a ton of great points there. And I've actually been thinking a lot about some of those same points recently, about how, looking back over what's kept me excited and interested in what we're doing, it's precisely the fact that I don't know what the ideal product should be, that I don't know where we're going to make the most money. And so it's about building this team and sending out these tentacles and saying, we need to figure out our business model. We need to learn about what customers want. And then we have to figure out how that connects to what we love doing. And it's that kind of relationship that makes it the most fun. Like, it's teamwork.
Team is the most important thing, right? I mean, our team is our family. I truly believe that. We care a lot about all the people that work for us. Culture is super important. Our team loves crypto, like absolutely loves crypto. Like, we have shitcoin chats in our Discord, like just talking about, we have a great time. Like, we love it. We love what we're doing. But at the same time, I have a vision, and I've had a vision since day one, and I'm sticking to that vision, and I know what I need to do to execute. And I just need to align the resources to execute. And I know now that, from a, from a day-to-day perspective, you know, my job is more driving the future, right? It's building out the team, putting the pieces in place, but it's making sure that the team stays excited and stays inspired to execute on that vision, and to get there. And for me, it's just a matter of like, it's taken me 4 years to line these pieces up, and they're still not fully lined up. But like, I feel like we're here, we're at an inflection point, and now it's just like go to market and absolutely execute. But it takes time. Like it took years and years and years for us to find product market fit. It really did. I mean, it took me 2.5, 3 years to make our first $1 million, and like a month to make our second, or 2 months to make our second. Like, it just kind of comes at you fast, right? And so it's just, you know, having that vision, having that belief, not giving up, learning from people, learning from your customers. And then when you're ready, you know, we're kind of at the we are ready phase. And look, I wouldn't say we're ultra successful or anything yet, right? I mean, I think we're just getting started, but it's like, now I feel like we're at this point where it's like, all right, we've put in all this groundwork, all this effort, you know, blood, sweat, tears, you know, like, you know, literal tears, you know, it's taken a while. It's not been the easiest road, but now it's like, all right, we're here. We have something that's awesome. Our clients love it. Let's go to market today and let's go execute.
And you guys are growing, right? You're hiring. What kind of roles
We
are
are
you
hiring.
looking for?
Yeah, we're hiring a lot. We're probably going to hire over 100 people over the next 12 months. A lot on the institutional sales side. So anybody listening, if you worked at FactSet or Bloomberg or Refinitiv or S&P or IHS or any, you know, traditional financial data company, you have experience selling institutions, we want all of you, and especially if you love crypto. So
if you want to work in the coolest industry ever,
and at a company that's, you know, we're certainly serving traditional finance. That's our target market, but we are absolutely crypto degenerates, and we love this industry. We love this space, and it's kind of this interesting overlap, right? But you know, we are all crypto native, but we understand that the future isn't just with, there's certainly going to be crypto service providers that are crypto native that are servicing crypto people, but the mass market isn't crypto, right? The mass market is, how do you get in with X large bank or X large hedge fund or X large pension plan or X regulator or whatever else. And so for us, it's kind of like, how do we take these crypto native ideas and make them applicable to broader markets? So for example, another thing we're hiring for is on-chain developers. So if you understand blockchain data well, if you've run a node on different blockchains, if you understand mempool data, things like that, shoot us a message. You know, but like for us, we're not like building a Nansen or a this or a that. Like, a lot of those tools just don't make sense to a trader from Citibank, right? For us, it's like, okay, what can we take from traditional finance that makes sense? Like insider trading makes sense. So why don't we alert people when developers are selling out of tokens, right? And that's kind of what we're building, right? It's how do we take these ideas from traditional capital markets and find crypto equivalents? Like when we talk about the news that we're providing to clients, we talk about corporate actions, right? And so that's kind of the general just an idea. And so across all the things that we're hiring for, institutional sales is the biggest one. We're hiring more on the account admin side. So anybody who's like younger, who's looking to break into crypto, who's hungry, you know, we don't limit the amount of upside and opportunity that somebody has. So it's a great way to get into the space. Blockchain developers, data scientists, marketing, recruiters, HR. I mean, we're looking to hire hungry people that want to break into this industry, that want to go 1,000 miles an hour, and they want to be part of a rocket ship. And, you know, like passion is the most important thing. When I get on the phone, when I interview somebody, I want to see passion. I don't care what you are passionate about, but I think that passion is the most important thing, and that drives people to do incredible things. And so doesn't matter what you do. We want you, if you're passionate, you're excited, and you love shitcoins.
You really present a unique opportunity because you're still small, you're rapidly growing, but all the hard work is behind you. You have a great product, you have tons of great customers. So
the hard work is just getting started. It's just getting started. It's just getting
started. You seem to have found product market fit, or at least
we think we have product market fit. Yeah, we're very confident in that.
That's huge. So the question I'm thinking we end on is just, you know, your business is kind of like peering into the hive mind of crypto. And so what does your unique insight tell you about where this industry might be heading over the course of the next 5-10 years, or the global economy itself?
So I think the insight I can provide is probably more on my conversations with clients as opposed to our data itself. Like our data doesn't really tell you what's going to happen in 5 years. I think it's very difficult to have data that tells you what's going to happen because things change so fast. But what I'll say is from talking to the largest institutions in the world, I have a firm belief that 90% of all multi-asset managers will be holding crypto within 18 months. I think every large traditional institution, whether it be a hedge fund, family office, pension, this, that, will have some exposure to digital assets. So I think we're just getting started. I think we're just scratching the surface. I mean, we have one client that's a $50 billion asset manager. I don't think it's public that they're in crypto. And the partner told me, yeah, we're just allocating 2% of our AUM to crypto. Well, that's $1 billion. And I think there's going to be a lot of that. And so I think this is an incredibly exciting time to be in this industry, to be in this asset class. We're I would say more now on the institutional, I guess, centralized versus the decentralized side of things for sure. But I can tell you that on that end, I mean, the interest is just growing. And the only thing, the thing that's holding back adoption from an institutional point of view is just compliance nonsense. Like, it's literally just like, we're onboarding with X custodian and we have to do this due diligence questionnaire. And then I have to run it by my compliance team and blah, 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 blah. But like, people are getting ready to go. They're getting their ducks in a row to go to market. And I think the coolest part is certainly a lot of the interest, especially in like late 2020, early 2021, was Bitcoin focused, but it is expanding beyond that. And institutions are looking at a lot more than just Bitcoin. Certainly Ethereum is part of the conversation, but I think interest is going to extend beyond there. And I think anybody trading is so important. Like, I think a lot of people forget that you need to have functional capital markets. Like you need to have trading to have markets, right? Like, even if you're a long-term believer in a project, there still needs to be liquidity. There needs to be trading volume behind that project to invest in that project, right? And so, I think traders coming in, speculators are a fantastic thing. And I think there'll be a lot of speculators coming in, a lot of traders coming in to trade the top 20, top 50 assets by market cap, which is super exciting.